Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Tesla stock once again, as it has hit another all-time high price tag for the share price today. So this is like the fifth day in a row that I think Tesla stock has surged. The first day started out at like plus 13%. The next day was at plus 6% or something like that. Then after that, it was plus 1.5, 1.7%. Yesterday, we had another big day. And then now today, again, the stock is up plus 3.57%. And the share price has hit over $1,900. So another big day for Tesla, and it's just so interesting to see this stock surge day after day after day after day after day. It's normally with Tesla, you'll either see one surge day, usually more than likely it's 2 days in a row where you have really big green days, and then the third day is like a rare occurrence. That's a pretty rare situation that happens, but it has happened in the past. But when you have 5 days in a row that combine to equal plus 30% just in 5 days, then that's a huge deal. As you can see, just this past week, it is up 29.29%. That's plus $430.54 added on to every single share that you own in your portfolio. So that's a $430 gain for every share that you own. I don't think people realize how crazy that is for a stock that was $1,400. And that means even if you bought the share near its previous all-time high at $1,400, you've still made $430 on each share that you own at that price tag. So these are some serious gains here. And every day I just get more and more excited about Tesla because I just don't know what's going to happen next with it. And I always say this, Tesla, regardless of the gains and everything like that, Tesla is one of the most interesting stocks in the stock market to own. That's why I do so many videos on it. Of course, it's a large position in my portfolio, but it's one of the most interesting stocks to own in my opinion because there's always news coming out about the stock. There's always things happening with them scaling their businesses, building factories, posting new job listings, expanding construction on their factories, adding new services. You have insurance service, wrap service in China. And so there's always something going on with Tesla. And it's just one of those stocks that is really good to own if you just want something interesting to own. For example, yeah, you can own VOO, and that's cool and all. It diversifies itself for you. That's an average of 10% per year. And I'm not dissing VOO at all. It's a great ETF for those that just want to sit there and relax and let the money do its work for you. But if you're interested in stock picking, then Tesla is really one of those interesting ones. Like I said, VOO, there's nothing really special about it, except for like, I realize what is in that fund. I understand what is included in that ETF, but that's about it. It's just a 10% gain per year, and there's nothing really super interesting about VOO. You don't constantly hear news about VOO because it's just an ETF. Whereas with Tesla, if you want to stock pick and select specific stocks, now keep in mind, this isn't financial advice or anything like that. Nothing that I say is financial advice, but I'm just saying that Tesla is interesting to own because there's constant news pieces being released about it. You have one of the most entertaining CEOs of a company ever. I love Elon Musk. And so regardless of all of the gains that we've seen so far, regardless of that, of course, those crazy days where it's up 11%, 13%, 17%, those are so fun to experience and just keep up with. But also, just aside from all of that, there's so many things going on with Tesla as a company, even aside from the stock gaining money, that it's just one of those really interesting stocks to own. So as always, if y'all do appreciate these videos, make sure to smash that like button. Today, I just wanted to talk about the stock a little bit more and addressing the reason why it's up again once today. We had a price target increase yesterday by Wedbush. They announced that it was an increase from 1,800 to 1,900. So we see analysts starting to increase their price targets, but also I think that this increase is simply because people are finally realizing, yes, there is a little bit of fear of missing out for a lot of investors. I mean, this is going to obviously be a thing with many of them out there right now. You have some people that are maybe just buying one share of Tesla, and some are probably buying more of that just because they don't want to miss out on these awesome gains. And so that has to be where some of the movement is coming from. But like I said in previous videos, I think a lot of this movement is just because of course, we have this hype around the run-up right now. This is another one of those run-ups that we've seen consistently with Tesla. It's kind of similar to what we saw on June 26, where it went from like $950 all the way up to like $1,500. So there are people thinking, okay, maybe this stock could hit 2,000 or 2,100 sometime soon. So there are people that want to get in on it before it runs up all the way once again. So that's definitely a factor in some of this positive movement that we've seen over the past week. But I also think a major factor in this as well is simply because of the stock split being announced. That's something that has really propelled this stock a lot more. It had pretty much been an uneventful month for Tesla until they announced that stock split and we actually started seeing long-lasting movements. Not movements that'll go up and then get corrected back down in 2 days. These are movements that are lasting. So pretty much the sole reason that kickstarted all of this growth recently is because of that stock split announcement. Now keep in mind, there had been positive news released that day, but the stock was still in the red until the end of the day in the after hours. And that's when it was announced that the stock split was going to happen. And then it shot up out of the red and into the positive. So I think it shot up like 6% just in the after hours for that day. And then the day after that, it went up like 13%. So the major reason that we are seeing this movement, it's undeniable because it was all kickstarted by this, is because of the announcement of the stock split. So now after that, you could say a lot of the stock split is already factored in, but you have to question, why are we still seeing growth out of this stock? Well, I think it's a bunch of different things playing together. For one thing, you have the stock moving in a very positive direction. It's moving upwards and upwards and upwards significantly, like especially over this past week, 29%. So we're having analysts start to adapt to that share price, and they're actually verifying the share price by basically saying, okay, here's a price target around what the share price is currently at. This is what we think it's worth. And so when investors see analysts adapting these price targets to what the share price is actually near, then some normal investors interpret that as a positive thing and think, okay, at least they're not being bearish and saying this is too much of a run up and that it's only worth like $1,300. The fact that analysts are adapting to the share price and are putting out price targets near what it's currently at, I think that's a sign to retail investors, which are interpreting it as a positive thing and basically reinforcing the idea to them that it's worth the current share price. But one thing I explored in yesterday's video was that most recent price target announcement, and they were basing that $100 increase on the price target from $1,800 to $1,900 off of factors that could have been predicted way back in November just on rising demand of EVs in China. That's pretty much what the price increase was all about, just because there was a rising demand for EVs in China, and then Tesla, as we know, is one of the major producers in China. But that was interesting to me, the fact that they added $100 on the share price just because they saw that rising demand. But that increase in demand could have been predicted way back in November and even earlier than that, in my opinion. So the analysts are still not looking too far ahead. They're not looking as far ahead as ARK Invest is, which is more of like my perspective on things. I'm looking at the next 10 years for Tesla. I'm not looking at the next 2 months or the next 1 year. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm in it for the long term, and I like to take on that long-term perspective when it comes to a stock like Tesla, when there's a lot of potential for things to happen, especially in the next upcoming 10 years. So like I said, I think some investors are kind of buying in because of that fear of missing out. Others are buying in because of the stock split. That's the main reason, in my opinion. And then also some investors are buying in because they're basically seeing these analysts verify the current share price by putting out fair values and price targets around what it's currently at. And that says to some normal investors that that's a good sign for Tesla and that at least Tesla at this price tag is probably worth it. So when they see that verification, they don't want to miss out on the future gains, and that's when they start getting in on Tesla. Now, for me personally, nothing fundamentally has changed about Tesla. Nothing that has happened over the past few days have changed any of my vision about Tesla because, like I said, I'm looking far into the future and I plan on holding Tesla probably 20 to 40 years. Like, obviously, unless something comes up and I have to use some money out of my portfolio to buy a house, that would be my last option. But if it was a situation where I really needed money right then and there, I may consider selling shares, but it would never be because I simply just didn't believe in the company long term. It would only be because I needed access to money right then and there for like a life-changing thing like buying a house. But keep in mind, that would be the worst case scenario of me selling any of my Tesla stock. I don't plan on doing so, and I treat my investments basically as non-existent money. I don't treat this account as something to where I could just sell some shares and get some cash out of it really quick. I don't treat it like that. I pretend that this money is basically unusable and doesn't exist. But that would probably be the only situation where I would sell stocks in my portfolio, and likely it would be not even Tesla stock. It would probably be Microsoft or Apple stock. So like I said, I'm looking at this in the long term, far into the future, and I plan on not selling any shares basically until retirement if that's possible. So my investment strategy and perspective perspective on Teslas through the long-term lens, and I think people are starting to realize that as well as we see this stock skyrocket and skyrocket and skyrocket over the past just few months, over this past year. Like especially at this point on this peak on February 4th, then we have this peak on February 19th, then we had another peak up here on like July 20th, and then now we're eventually going to reach a peak up here. So we've seen like 4 different cases of movement just over this past year so far, and it keeps showing time and time again that Tesla is going to keep on growing. And we've seen that with the company as well, with them scaling their business by building more Gigafactories. We have one being built in Berlin, and we have one being built in Austin, Texas, with a lot of progress happening so far. And then it's only a matter of time until another Gigafactory announcement happens. So this is a company that is not even close to stopping growing. And especially with the share price as well, I think it's only up from here. Yes, we may have a pullback sometime in the future, but my predictions for the next 10 years, I've said this in previous videos, I feel like a decent share price around the time of 2030 would be $10,000. Now, keep in mind, that's on the scale of us never having a stock split, so that's obviously going to have to change once the stock split happens. But if there was never a stock split, I feel like $10,000 by 2030 would be a pretty solid estimate. Some say it might even be a conservative estimate, but regardless, this is one of my favorite stocks in my portfolio, definitely my favorite, and it's just really fun to keep up with. And I've been trying to put as much money as possible into this one lately. I've been selling some things that I collect personally, so I've been getting rid of those because I realized that I don't really need it, and I could honestly grow my money and buy 2 or 3 of them in the future if I just invested in high quality long-term stocks. So that has been my logic lately. I'm going to have my credit card paid off soon, and I'll have more money to put into Tesla stock, hopefully. So that'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. But I just wanted to share this video with you all, talk about some reasoning as to why I think it's growing even more today, and also just discussing my current feelings about the market. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button, and also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you use my referral link, then you'll get some free stocks, and with Webull you can use my link and deposit $100 and you'll get 2 free stocks. So that's a nice passive income. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.